So I'll just go over some things we're picking up weekly with the bench press. So a lot of stuff we're seeing is people bench pressing like that. Now, if you think about your rotator cuffs, if you're getting a lot of rotator cuff injuries and the amount of leverage you are putting on your joint there, the amount of strain pressure that's travelling when you're in this weaker position. So what we want to be doing is we want to be, imagine you have the bar and you're twisting the bar around, and you'll see there now the elbow position from the rotator cuff now goes to 45 degrees. Now if you're still bending the bar, you can see there how it goes round. Now you're keeping your chest high, and as you come down, and you want to be pushing through this bit so it goes directly through the bone and through the forearm rather than pushing your fingers back and creating a weak position. So you've got the bar, line that position up, hold it, bend round, go to 45 degrees, chest high, and as you come down the lat, you're pushing them out, and that helps you give a bit of spring out the bottom for pushing your elbows back up, but it also creates a lot of pressure around the rotator cuff to give you a lot of protection in your rotator cuff and shoulder joint. So you get down to the bottom, and then you're going to be coming up, keeping the chest high all the time. Now, while you're in that position, stability is really important, but you want to be pushing on your feet, which will then push up into your shoulder, but keeping your glutes on the bench at the same time. So another thing we want to be looking at as well is stability. So when you're once you set up and you're lying down the bench, with a warm-up, try wide feet position, try narrow, try everything in between. Try your feet really back, pushing from your toes. I prefer to push from the heels, but you want to be pushing through your legs as you do that and keeping your glutes on the bench. But you want to be stable. So you imagine you have a bar in your hand, and each time you do a rep, you go down this side. All that weight is now transferred onto this side, and you're exhausting this arm. You're also putting a much higher chance of injury, and it's just not a good way to be doing the lift. So practice with your warm-up, practice everything with your warm-up so you get your technique right. And you're coming down nice and stable, and back up nice and stable. If you're rocking side to side, you're exhausting yourself quicker and putting a lot of pressure on your joints, and you're going to cause yourself a lot of injuries, and you're going to get a lot less reps. So one of the ways I like to practice with stability is you're coming in nice, you have your shoulder blades pinched together, you're focused on pushing your back through the ground into the bench, you have your legs solid into the floor. They are pulled back a little bit with a slight arch in your back. You're keeping your glutes tensed and they're keeping firm on the bench. And as you set up your position, a real focus on keeping the body stable. And as you come down, keeping the shoulder blades together, don't let your lats pop on either side of the bench. And then real focus on both hands coming up together. And it should be, we prefer to do it a little bit more explosive at the bottom and a bit of a slower negative. So let's have a look and see how that works. So you see there, setting up the hands there, elbows flared out at start, bending round, keeping the hands in that position so it's pushing through the forearms. 45 degrees, pop out, down, nice and controlled. Lats are pushing out, feet in the ground, lats stable, explosive at the bottom. Keeping the chest nice and high. For many people, they will notice when they're doing the warm-up that it almost feels like you're play acting a little bit and you don't get that enough weight to really practice it. But I always like to practice the warm-up, get the technique right, make sure the bench is in the right position, and then you can adjust. So then when you go into your heavier sets, you have nailed your form, you're stable, setup's right, the bar's at the right height, and then you can just focus on progressing in the lift with good form. So how does that look side on? And bearing in mind, this is just how I like to do it. There's many different techniques and there's many much better power lifters, bench pressers than I am. I'm not a power lifter, I'm a coach. So shoulder blades pinched together, slight arch in the back. Good solid foot position. Setting up the hands. Pulling up onto the shoulders with shoulder blades pinched together. Bending the bar round. Glutes nice and tensed. Popping it out. And you'll see at all times, 45 degrees, chest nice and high, pushing through the feet, 3 points of contact, the glutes, the feet and the shoulder blades always touching the bench. How does that look then when you're a bit heavier weight now and you start to lose a bit of stability. So you set up, you're in position, you come down, you can start to feel it's going this way. Well, I can see there that my glute on the right hand side has went loose. I'm not pushing with this foot, and all the weight's down here. So I brace, both my feet are pushing to the ground. I've now tensed both my glutes. Shoulder blades are back together, chest up high. So when I have all three of them, shoulder blades together, glutes tensed, and feet pushing through the ground, it's quite easy to stay nice and stable. Each time one of them goes, whether it's the lat popping out, or you move to the side or slide, or you're not pushing with both of your feet even, or one of your glutes isn't tensed, you will start to wobble a little bit. Just imagine it like a tripod, 3 different legs, and one of them isn't working properly. You're always going to get that uneven press. That's your base. Feet, glutes, shoulders. Give it a try. I always say though, if you are going to practice any of these things, there's loads of videos out there, there's loads of different techniques. There's no one size fits all. Take the video away, break it down into little cues, practice one, master it, add on to that. And like anything, if it isn't working for you or doesn't feel right, no matter what I say in this video or what some other guy says in the video, adjust and personalise, tweak it to suit your own body. There is 1 or 2 things I've tried with clients which is seen as being best practices for bench press, and maybe due to their injuries, years of practicing different techniques, it just doesn't quite work for them. Adjust, adjust, adjust. Try to get yourself in the safest position, solid position, stable, and just keep tweaking to suit yourself. So I hope that's been helpful, and if you check out some of our other videos, normally they're about nutrition. I just wanted to touch on some gym stuff for a change. Just to show you a little bit heavier weights, you see here as well I'm wearing the wrist wraps now. On the warm-up I generally just have them pretty loose, and just for protection I do change them to make them tight to protect my wrist as I go on to it. But you will see if you're using a technique like pushing through your bone like I showed you at the start, really if you practice that and get good at that, you shouldn't really need wrist wraps. I've had a lot of wrist injuries in the past, so I just use them to protect myself.